Hey everybody, I'm Dominic from askmediy.com. In this video, we're going to explain how to install a TV mount on your wall, and as well as mounting that mount to the TV itself. First thing a lot of people don't understand, and they always want the answers, what height do we put that TV at? Well, rule of thumb, if you're sitting down at chairs or a couch, say for a 42-inch TV, it's going to be 56 inches to the center of the TV. Now, again, there is no right or wrong way. It's just, what do you prefer? But your rule of thumb, and the list goes on and on for different size TVs, which I'll post a link on my website for. So in this case, this is my office. I'm going to be sitting over there. So we're going to keep it at, for a 42-inch TV, 56 inches on center. Now, first thing you want to do is figure out where you want it on the wall. You may want it centered in that wall, but in order for it to be centered 100%, you're going to need those studs right where you want them. Now, this is a wood stud wall, so we're going to have a whole bunch of studs, and they're going to be 16 inches on center. So we're going to have one here, there, and so forth. And what we're looking to do is mount that. One of the things we want to do is find where the studs are. How do we find that? Simple, with the stud finder. Okay. All right, now that we found our studs, we want to make a mark. And using a long level keeps it nice and straight and pretty accurate. So we're going to put our level in between our two little marks that we made for our stud, and then just draw a line. Pencil and light would be nice. And we're going to do that for our two studs that we want to grab, or maybe you want to do more depending upon where you want to position it. Also, our line, we want to make a mark at our 56 inches, and we want to level that out. So just place it like that on your mark, level it out. Again, a 3 or 4 foot level is really good for this. So we could really see that we're at. So now we have our lines for our studs and our horizontal level line. Now, the TV mount that we're using is by Mountain Dream. They actually include 2 little levels, which is great for doing the mount itself, but when you're trying to find the studs and everything, I would really prefer to get, having a bigger level. All right, now that we have our studs marked, our horizontal line, now we're going to use this template provided with the TV mount, which is pretty cool. I mean, a lot of templates you have to cut and this and that. The one from here for this TV mount by Mountain Dream, I don't have to do anything like that. So, it's a self-stick. We have our little level in the middle here. I'm going to line it up with our lines. And look at that, voila. Okay, so now next, we want to pre-drill all our holes. Why do we want to pre-drill them? Well, because we're going to put big bolts in there, big wood bolts, and we want to make sure that they grab nicely, not too tight where it could snap a bolt. And as well as that when we're drilling, we want to make sure that we're actually into the wood. Okay, well, now I'm ready to start drilling our holes through our sheetrock into our wood stud. Like you see, they're pretty much lined up with our lines for our studs that we made, and I double check for level and all that, because once that's done, it's done. Now these are our bolts, our lag bolts that we're going to be putting into the wall, and this is our drill. What size? Well, it really depends on what size bolt that they're going to give you. Just read the instructions and it'll tell you which one. Just simple drill. Now how far? This is how big the bolt is, about 2 1/4 inches. So we can kind of gauge how far that we need to go, but you don't need to do the whole thing. Okay, drilling through the sheetrock, drills through in a half a second. Once I hit the wood, then I could feel that. Now, if I wasn't lined up with that stud, well, that would have just went boof. It would have just been like butter right through it. Then we would know, uh-oh, we better reevaluate where we think our studs are. But that was right on, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and see you in a minute. All right, now that we have all 4 holes drilled into the stud, we can go ahead and remove our template. And now we're left with 4 holes in the wall. Okay, now that we got our 4 legs and washers, and just put them together. And then the next step would be to grab our new Mountain Dream TV mount, which seems pretty cool. And now we can use these and start hanging this thing on the wall. All right, our TV mount to our holes. Where are we here? All right, now just simply start them by hand, right in the sheetrock. I mean, leaves it nice and snug there. I'm gonna do all 4 of them like this, and then we're gonna tighten them down. Again, when we drilled those holes, we felt the wood. So we really know we're in wood, but when you start tightening them, then you're really gonna know. You're gonna feel that. And we'll start doing that in a second. Okay, now this is tight. Now I'm feeling it, you know, I'm putting this good amount of pressure. We wanna make sure we're in the stud and nothing's gonna break. It's not, you know, we're really in there. And the TV, of course, is not gonna fall off the wall. But by no means, don't think you have to crank this down like you're putting a car tire on, okay? Snug, and snug is good. And yeah, that's, I'm not about to hang on it, but you know, I'm pretty sure I can. It's pretty strong mount. Okay, now what we gotta do is get the hardware together and mount it on the back of the TV. Okay, now to the back of the TV. With our TV mount, we come with 2 nice brackets to mount on the TV. Now, depending on your TV, it could be out here, here. In this case, they're really close together. Or these bolts could be further away, but these are, for whatever reason, they're close to the center. Now, this is pretty flat. We could just go right against the TV there, like that. Or if it was like bumped out because they just weren't even, well, lucky enough, we have all different size bolts and different spacers that we're going to use. So we could really use it with any TV. Now, good thing that this bracket is smaller than the TV. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing it, you know, you don't want to see that or on the bottom. So position it to where you think it's going to line up. The holes on top, you want line up. In the back, you got a big eccentric on the bottom here. So that's basically going to line up. So I think we're good for this one right there. And I'm just going to put a little spacer in it. And then I'm going to use the same spacer because it is even on all these and tighten these up with a screwdriver. But let me show you one little thing here. I already picked my spacer. I picked the bolt that actually fits it. I'm just going to go put this in. I'm going to put it in just by hand. No more than that. Just by what my little fingers can turn it. I want to make sure that it gets tight. Because what happens, you might have picked a bolt or a bad area that it won't allow it to go all the way in. And then you're going to, because it's against some electronics in there, and you go ahead and tighten that with your screwdriver, and then boom, you have a busted TV mounted on the wall. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to install both of these. Now pay attention to these right here. These are the hooks that are gonna hook on our mount that we just installed. You know, you don't want to install it like that, okay? Now earlier, when we were trying to find our studs in our wall, I mentioned, you know, center of the wall, depending upon where you want. Lucky enough for this mount that before we tighten it down, we can slide the TV on it to which way, you know, we may want it if it's off, you know, 6 inches or so. Okay, so now you got the TV looking, you know where you want it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now let's tighten these safety screws in the back. These are our screws in the back here, very easily with the Phillips screwdriver. Now this is the setup for Mountain Dream with a very strong TV mount, you know, just snug. Yours, I'm sure, will be a little different, but as you can tell, that this screw really covers the whole bottom of the bracket here and then tightens it up, pushes it against it, throwing it into the top of the frame here. So, I mean, that's not going to fall off for sure. Okay, our last thing to do to mount our TV, we might want to adjust the angle. Now, that angle there, that's pretty intense of an angle. Good if you got little kids on the floor watching TV, I guess, right? You don't really want it flat or up. I think like this. Geez, just just a little bit of an angle. And I could tighten up the set screws on both sides. I got that one right there is what I'm adjusting. After you do that, the TV is mounted. Okay, well our TV is mounted and firmly into the studs. That you know, it's the proper height for me. You know, it could be for you too. But let's think about this for a second. You mounted your TV and you put it somewhere where people will be walking past it. No good. That's going to break your TV and whatever else. Okay, so in this case, I actually have a little table that goes under here, and it's my office. Nobody's walking around this side. But if your TV was in a game room, say, well, you wouldn't want it down low. You want it higher and probably pitch down. A game room, a gym, whatever it may be. Top of a fireplace, they just look cool. Unless your TV is this big and your fireplace is that low, so not a good thing. Anyway, the TV mount was provided from Mountain Dream. I tell you what, I honestly like it, and I like it good enough to put a TV on my wall in my office. But here's one thing that really got me by surprise. Besides the fact that the TV mount came with 2 levels, it came with an HDMI cable. Practically, it was like 8 or 9 foot. Right? The mount is about 50 bucks or something like that. What do you think you pay for this cable by itself? Very cool. All right, well, I'm going to go and put some wiring into the wall, which is a whole nother video by itself, because seriously, I don't like that. I like it hidden. Anyway, I'm Dominic. Thanks for watching.